This is Anais. I am Patreon Sage on YouTube, an intuitive reader here with you on YouTube, and this is just one of many things that I offer by way of sharing what I call the translation of energy. I've been able to translate energy since I was a very young person. I spent a great deal of my life translating source energy into healing energy as a hands-on healer. And I've translated energy in many, many ways over the course of my life, primarily with the intention of being part of co-creating personal, collective, global healing and transformation. I'm also someone who is on a sacred union journey, and in the last 3 years, beginning in 2016, the process of sacred union moved into my life in a very dynamic, unexpected, and actually quite shocking way, literally shocking. And I have been translating and feeling and interacting with the energies of sacred union ever since. And where I am now, primarily, is that I am in a space where I very rarely offer personal healing sessions. My work has moved into what I would call the global arena, and I did discover in the last year, which was pretty much 2018, of doing personal healing sessions and consultations, that I, in the vibrational frequency that I'm in, and with the direct connection and knowing that I have from Source, and with Gaia, the evolutionary being, who is ascending, and we are ascending with her, that I am no longer interested, willing, or even able to do other people's healing work for them, except in very, very special circumstances. And this was quite a shocking transition for me, because so much of my heart and soul for more than 20 years had really been focused with the healing intention of healing myself, healing this planet, healing us from the system of separation in which this planet, it's really an infection at this point, and it is a terminal infection. So those of us who are not ascending and cleaning and clearing our entire expressions of who we are in an individual life, if we're not attending to that work right now, we are on a very slippery slope. And it goes beyond dealing with issues of separation within us and all around us. It goes into the very fabric of what is the creation, and whether we will continue on as consciousness that is part of Source, divine blueprint, new creation, which is being created as we speak and as we go through every purging and healing process. So I'm in the midst of tremendous change myself, and as has always been my path in life, I have been willing to translate that change into language and action, and a way to offer possibilities for others to find a path to their own wholeness and healing and becoming conscious co-creators. Because at this point, with all that I've been through, that is the it is the only lesson. All of these other lessons that we're so intent on learning all lead to this one lesson. And those of us who are in sacred union journey are in the last or the beginning moments of the 0 point exchange of energy, where we have been able to appreciate this lesson, this living lesson happening inside of us, happening by being externally reflected in our lives. And we are aware that there is only one lesson here that we need to learn. And that is how to take on the accountability and responsibility for our own healing, for having the courage to take the action to discover the path into our own wholeness. It already exists. We do not have to create it. We simply have to locate it and allow ourselves to relax into it. So, that being said, you may know, if you've been watching my readings, that I'm an intuitive reader. I don't approach tarot in the traditional way because I am dealing with direct knowing in my own experience that we are to learn, that we are learning, that we are becoming empowered to find the answers that we need for any and every question inside of us, through feeling into our heart centers and trusting in the mystery. So I don't deal with future, I don't deal with money, I don't deal with issues like, am I going to get that job promotion? I don't deal with, does he love me, does she love me? Because the one lesson that we have to learn about love is inside of us, and it's discovering how we are encouraged to be empowered in self-love, to live from self-love that is aligned with and connected to Source and to the evolving consciousness that is Gaia. And from that space of consciousness, how everything we do, say, become, feel, know, and express is love. And it's not a big deal, and it's not dramatic, and it's not something that draws attention to you. It simply ultimately becomes who you are, and you know this. So when I'm doing these readings, I am aligning with those of you who are also on this journey, and I am basically cheering you on and congratulating you and sending you my love as a reflection of your own healing and wholeness into your own experience of being loved by Source, of being loved by Gaia, and at the very fiber of your atomic, quantum, DNA, cellular reality. What makes it all happen is the energy that we have labeled love. The label, the word, is too small for the energy, for the experience, for the vastness of what this is. And those of us on the sacred union journey are discovering this and opening to it and receiving it and being grateful for it and managing that boundary line of terror that is the last of the system of separation that exists within us. And the terror is the greatest illusion ever of fear, and the terror is the greatest energy, the fear of knowing that we are love, that we are loving, that this is who we are, that anything else is a story, and that in fact our stories are killing us. So we're coming into understanding the weaving that we're doing between seeing our stories, recognizing our stories, sorting through our stories, and letting go of the parts of our stories that deny our wholeness and that kill our spirits and souls. So I guess this is a bit of a heavy beginning, but this is what is here. This is the current energy. This is what I'm translating. And this is a day where, unfortunately, terror and fear and the infection of separation have once again expressed in tragic violence in the United States, in 2 mass shootings, and in our waking up experience, in our beginning to live in wholeness, as wholeness, through wholeness, we have to take accountability for who we have allowed, or what I should say, we have allowed our country to become, the shape that it has taken, the turn it has taken toward darkness. And those of us on the Sacred Union journey who are awakening, we know that part of our sacred mission in Sacred Union, it's not to bring light to that darkness. It's to bring love that illuminates. And love and light must not be separated. And there are many schools of thought that actually are very clever in doing their best to separate light from love. And if you're just paying a little bit of attention, you'll know where this is happening. You'll see it and you'll recognize it. And if you have discernment, you will know what and how to be in relationship with that information. So in this reading, energy is energy. It's creative energy. The divine feminine principle is a creative energy of essence. The divine masculine principle is the creative essence of generating form. Both are quite capable of dynamic action and powerful action. The feminine is not passive. The masculine is not aggressive. These two energies both flow directly from Source, and when they are aligned with Source's divine blueprint, they work in balance. The feminine energy is magnetic, but she can be very, 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 very active in her magnetism. The divine masculine is very, very genius at working with the feminine to create form for the essence which she brings to any co-creation. He is also very active, but he also knows when he needs to step back and be still, in the same way that the divine feminine knows when she needs to step back and be still and allow the divine masculine to use his source-given energy to create the forms that they have worked on co-creating together as part of their mission. This energy is not gender specific. It is electromagnetic in nature. And the power of that electromagnetic nature to co-create comes directly from Source and from no other place. It is not magic. Okay, so having said all of that, let's get into the reading. I was curious about what is going to be weaving in and out of the energy of coming into union, because as many years as I've been doing this work, I'm approaching 30 years of doing this work, inner work, outer work, healing work, working consciousness as a healer, teacher, facilitator, retreat leader, all of it. This is my life. This is why I'm here. One of the things that I've learned is with every expansion, there's an accompanying contraction. And in the system of separation, in the 3D construct. And it's very easy to observe once you've shifted into 5D consciousness and the 5D frequency flows. When the union bliss expresses itself in embodied form, the creaction, oh, that's an interesting word, a creaction. That's a good word, creaction. The creaction, I'm going to keep that word, because I'm finding as I'm doing this translating of energies that we don't have language for what we're experiencing, but a creaction, which is a contraction and a reaction happening together. The bliss triggers the creaction, and those people who are not source sparked, embodied, not aligned with source defined blueprint, the creaction creates a terrible pressure in them. The contraction becomes almost too much to bear, and in its energy format, it becomes what I call a reaction flare. And because it is energy, it cannot remain stagnant. It has to be expressed. And how this creaction energy is expressed is as a dualistic force in contrast with source creation. And it is always a destructive show of power. Always. And that destructive show of power is mischaracterized in many instances as masculine energy. It is imbalanced energy in which the divine masculine in his electrical charge is out of balance within himself with his magnetic charge. And because he is out of balance in his electrical charge, all he can experience within himself is power. And he has to discharge that energy, and that energy gets discharged as a distorted expression of power. So I hope you're listening, because this is a really valuable insight for those of you maybe who are on the way to it but who haven't reached it quite yet. So the violence that we are seeing in the United States of America, and it's global now, it's not just in the United States, the global violence, the global ceaseless violent separations in which we live. We are needing to wake up to where the imbalances are. We are needing to wake up to these imbalances in ourselves as young people, as young adults, as people who are seeking union in the form of intimate, loving, committed relationships or otherwise. We are needing to recognize these imbalances in how we express our sacred sensuality. When we take our electrical energy and our charge, both feminine and masculine, magnetic and electric, and distort that energy. And in so distorting it, we contribute to it being out of balance, and we're contributing to every expression of it that becomes distorted. And we need to understand that we are accountable for this, that we are contributing to it. And then in our sacred union journeys and coming into our wholeness within ourselves, we do have to own this truth and take responsibility for making different choices. And the choices that are open to us now are, how do we always return to our hearts to choose wholeness and truth and trust and transparency and relationships that are circular and open and flowing and connected. So I guess that's my preaching for this morning. And if you're listening, great, thank you. And if you resonate with this, please do like, share, and subscribe.